Hi, and welcome to my channel. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. It's free and it will ensure you won't miss any future videos. In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is for a beginner to mount their own fish, should you decide to keep a trophy and try doing a skin mount yourself. To get really good at it, however, is a slightly different story and requires studying good reference material, attention to detail, and a lot of practice. The whole process can be accomplished with relatively few tools and materials. To skin this fish, I use a fish skinning knife, although a regular butter knife will work, a heavy pair of scissors, a small, somewhat dull knife, and a pair of tweezers. Just about all the supplies you need to mount a fish can be obtained through Mackenzie Taxidermy Supply, and I'd recommend getting one of their catalogs if you're interested in doing that. For this fish, I'm going to use a purchased foam body. You can simply take a couple measurements and order one. However, you can also carve your own out of styrofoam. That's a whole different subject which I may cover in a future video. This video will just be on skinning the fish and preserving the skin. I plan on following this video up with another one on the mounting process and getting it ready to paint. Fish I have chosen to work on today is about a 3-pound largemouth bass. The first step is making an incision down the back side of the fish. I use this heavy-duty pair of scissors to do that. From the tail all the way up to under the gill cover. The bone here you snip through. Then I take my fish skinning knife. Like I said before, you can do this with a regular butter knife. This has some teeth in it. It does a little better job. I believe it's like $6 from Mackenzie Supply. It's well worth the investment. Now you separate the skin from the fish's body all the way on the front side until you get to the fins. Just take your time. Realize if you do slip, cut a hole, something like that, don't panic. It can all be repaired in the end. Just try to keep it minimal. You know, work around carefully. The back side of the fish, which is the show side of your fish actually, I use my finger to feel what I'm doing. Now we cut through the fin butts to separate them. Separate the dorsal and the spiny dorsal. And move down. Cut this fin. Then we cut the tail. Again, use your fingers on the back side so you can feel what that point of the scissor is doing. It'll just save you from putting holes in it. Separate this a little bit more. And now you just go along the back side, separating the meat from the skin. A little more work with the scissors. A couple more fins to cut. And sometimes in areas like the throat where the skin is real thin, I'll just use my fingers to separate the meat from the skin. Okay, now we cut the throat. If you're going to do an open mouth, you want to make sure, I hope you can see this here, you want to make sure you leave a little length so when the finished mount, you look into the mouth, you have a nice deep natural look. Now at the base of the skull, we cut and then we remove the meat. Now if this fish is fresh and it's been properly taken care of and your tools are clean, the meat is just fine to eat. Just fillet it as you would any other fish if you're interested in that. Now we scrape the skin, all the meat off the skin, always going in the direction of tail to head. That will minimize scale loss. Just get it as clean as possible. Scrape the butts of all the fins. And we come in with the scissors again and remove that nice and close. A little too close. I cut a hole there, not a problem. You can fix that. You'll never see it when this mount is done. the back pectoral fin. It's attached to this bone here. Since this is the back side, I usually just pull it out. It's a little time saver, and you don't see it on the back of the fish anyhow, unless you're doing a two-sided mount. Perfectly fine. Couple more fins to trim off. That looks pretty good. Now we'll clean out the gills a little bit and the throat area. The front pectoral fin, going to be a little more careful with. A little more scraping on the top of the throat and the gills. And then we take our scissors and work on the head area. Get as much out as you can. And I'm using the thumb on the back of this fish so I can feel the tip of my scissors so we don't cut through. Now I take out the eye. I just work my tweezers in the back side of the eye to loosen it up and pull it right out. Then I take this knife, using my thumb to feel what it's doing. I work it between the skin and the cheek meat. Then I turn my knife, cut it on the top, and scrape the meat off the bone behind it. Do the same in the front. And the cheek meat then comes out pretty much in one piece. Go in again, make sure we got it all out. Then we turn it over and do the other side. You want to take your time, make sure you get as much meat out as possible. That'll avoid a lot of shrinkage issues as your mount dries, and also grease bleed throughs which isn't a good thing after your fish is already painted and done. Now we just go over the entire fish, looking for any meat that needs to be removed. This throat latch here, I do a lot of work with just my fingers. Clean out the bottom of the gills. If you want an open mouth. If you decide you want a closed mouth fish, you can just rip these gills out. You don't even have to spend the time to clean them. But it doesn't take that long to do it right. And right up under the gill cover, there's just a little bit of meat that likes to hide in there. Clean that out on both sides. And the base of the pectoral fin. And this isn't looking too bad. I'm going to take the fish now, go rinse it off in my sink, and come back and go over it one more time just to make sure all the meat is gone. Then we move on to the next step. Now we just go over the fish one last time, looking for little hidden pockets of meat. Scrape the entire fish. Check out all the fin butts. A lot of attention in the head area. There's a lot of hiding places for meat. Use your scissors, cut out any bones. You want to get in there nice and deep so your body will fit in there without interference. The cleaner you get it at this step, the less problems you'll have on down the line. That's for sure. And that's looking pretty clean. Next thing I do is prepare a borax solution. I soak it in there anywhere from overnight up to a week. And when I take it out of the borax, I go over it one last time just to make absolutely sure. Got everything out of there. Okay, now we make our borax solution. I have about a half a bucket of water here for this one fish. I use lukewarm water. Borax dissolves a little bit better. I'm just going to use a handful or two of powdered borax. You really want to add enough borax till it quits dissolving. It's not an exact science. Okay, now we simply put our fish into this borax solution. And we're going to leave it in there overnight. Okay, the fish has now had a chance to soak overnight. I've rinsed it, and I'm going to go over it one more time just to make sure I've got it as clean as possible. The fish will then be ready to mount, which I plan on covering in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Seeing your interest will motivate me to make more videos in the future. Until next time, have a good one.